Grab yourselves a dram or a warm drink and settle down for another story corner. Now, this story comes from Scottish borders, an area well known for its farming heritage. Just like today, the farms often had seasonal labourers who would come and work when things were a bit busier. And the farmer's wife from Deloraine, she was a generous lady. She encouraged all the labourers to turn up a bit early, get their breakfast at the farm. And naturally, the best workers would want to come back to the farm that gave them the best breakfast, so there were never short of faces around the table. It wasn't anything too fancy, just good old-fashioned porridge, although it was with milk rather than water, which was, that was a nice change for them. Then one morning, the diners ran out of milk, so one of them took the jug through to the pantry for a look at filling it up. They rummaged around all the shelves in the cupboards, but no luck. Not a drop of milk to be found, so back to the table they went, empty-handed. And when the hostess came to check how breakfast was, when it seemed like they were complaining, but they still mentioned, well, actually, the milk ran out. She told them, no, don't worry about it. You should have mentioned something sooner. I'll refill that in a second. And she walks through the pantry. And the men at the table, their eyebrows raised, all turned to look at the lad who'd come back empty-handed. He assured them he checked everywhere. So he tiptoed after her just to see where she got to. He peeks around the corner, see where the farm's secret milk stash was. Now, to his surprise, the mistress of the house, she didn't go to a secret cupboard. She approached a little peg in the wall instead. A quick turn of that peg outpoured fresh milk into the jug. And the spying lad, he rushed back to his seat. He didn't want to be caught by the witch. He didn't want to be turned into a toad or something like that. He knew he'd just witnessed witchcraft. But, magicking up milk, it can't be doing much harm. Best not mention it to the others, just in case they took a different view. The rest of his porridge was eaten in silence as his companions poked fun at him for not being able to see what must have been a very large jug of milk in a very small pantry. Then, halfway through the day, the sun's beating down on them, one of the labourers wished out loud for some of that milk they'd had at breakfast. Well, this was the lad's chance to redeem himself. Don't worry, boys, I know where to find the milk this time. And making sure the coast was clear, he slipped into the farmhouse, creeping over the old flagstones to the peg in the wall, and he looks both ways and looks over his shoulder. And he gave it a turn. Out poured plenty of milk. He filled up the jug and the man was grinning to himself, pretty pleased. That grin didn't last long. Milk wouldn't stop. He turned the pin back. Still it came. He spun it back the other way. If anything, it was pouring faster now. He filled up every bucket and jug and bowl that he could find in the kitchen while screaming for help. And the other labourers, they came through and saw the commotion. They went out and they brought in every bucket they could find outside, but still, they were all full and the milk kept coming. And then the farmer's wife bursts into the room like a tempest. With a big slap of her hand, she shoved the labourer out of the way, a deft flick of the peg, and the milk stops. With a fiery look in her eyes, she stares down at this man, soaked in all the milk and the mess all around her pantry. You daft idiot! You've drained every cow dry from here to Selkirk. And from that day on, farm labourers, they had to eat their porridge with water. I doubt this chat was very popular after that. So, it's easy to watch somebody do their job and think, I could do that. And just remember, some things are much harder than they look. Sláinte.